backup engines that were there. Another great thing you'd be interested in is Disneyland is so much larger underground than it is what you get to see on top. There's great power grids down there. I mean, and here you are, you got places to run locomotives and turntables and places to lift them up, and if to take drive wheels off, you can do that. And they've got power machines to put them around on the various equipment and stuff. It is immense. And that was the hardest thing for me in a decision I had to make. When I graduated, here I am, a new engineer. Well, her dad is vice president of a very large aerospace company, and he and several of his cronies have been after me for years to come to work there. But Walt was saying, I want you to go down and be the head of the motive force when we complete it down in Florida. Well, that would have been a great job, but I was afraid because I really had worked hard and done a lot in that kind of industry there for him. I didn't particularly see it as a great career move because I wanted to go out and reinvent aircraft, you know, and put people on the moon. We hadn't done that yet. So I ended up going to work for her dad, but it would have been an interesting thing if it had happened that way. It just didn't. So.
Do you still have a question?
Yes, I do.
And I'll be next.
And you might have already answered it. You shared it. First off, I'd like to say thank you for sharing all this information with us because it's great to read the book. If you had one lesson that you could say you learned from it, you learned a lot. You know, that's really impacted your life up until now. What would that be? It might take some soul searching to figure it out, but
I think the main thing I actually did learn from him more than anything else was be a good listener. Because he used to say, if you've got something to sell, talk to the people that are prospective buyers and let them tell you what they want. They will, but you've got to hear it when they say it. And then you just go back and say, here's what you told me you want. We can do this way. And boom, you've got it over. And that's worked really well for me. I only stayed an engineer for six and a half years. And then I became kind of an entrepreneur and got into all kinds of stuff. But I usually had a sales force, so I was always training him to listen.
How old was Walt Disney when he started Disney World?
When he
started that?
Disney World or Disneyland?
Disneyland or whatever he did.
Well, I don't know.
He died pretty young, right? He was only 65.
Right.
63. So he must have been like 50,
Was it
55.
Yeah.
I think 67 when he died, actually.
Yeah.
67.
Yeah.
But
So he had a whole, he had a lot of stuff going on before that.
Oh, yeah.
he was pretty young. He was a pretty young guy, and he was pretty dynamic. But see, it was back in the.
When did they sell that property?
In the what's that?
When did they sell the property that became Disneyland?
Oh, yeah, I had a shirt-tail relative actually sold her orange grove to Walt, and that's the place of Disneyland.
Oh, wow.
But again, how would you ever know that would ever happen or
Yeah.
why?
But do you remember?
I got nothing from her when she
Do you remember when that was?
That was 1954 when he bought the
He
last.
did all that in 1 year?
No, it took him about 3 years, but he started. He borrowed out $7 million out of his life insurance.
Wow.
That's the seed money he used to start Disney.
Geez, back then, that's, I mean, that's a lot of money now, but back
A lot
then
of risk,
it was.
but he did. Wade's been very accommodating with your time. Thank
Wow.
you, sir. And
Yes, thank
you're a
you.
very modest guy. I will say this. I went to school with a lot of engineers way back when at the Naval Academy, and they're the smartest people I've been around all the time. And if you work for Walt, and you had a project for Walt, and you got it done, and he had a particular way he wanted to see it done. So I'm sure you were exceptional at what you did, Wade. You're a very modest guy. And I will say this, Ray Lynn, thank you. Because Ray Lynn, your personality, basically Wednesday, talk to some folks, and that's what happens when you listen and talk to some folks. And
Yeah.
And it was, I mean, I just ended up going out onto the patio and was trying to read, finishing Delivering Happiness, and just was sitting beside Cheryl and one of the other couples out there. So we got talking, but some of the, as Todd said, live a life worth telling a story about. And some of your greatest contacts are in listening and meeting people and how we run our businesses. And you can learn so much from other people's experiences. And some things, I mean, obviously the recommended read for us was Inside the Magic Kingdom and creating culture and building relationships. And you know, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for you guys taking the time out of your schedules today. I know you had things planned to come and talk to us. But before you leave, I do, and we just all finished doing an ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. So a couple of things about Wade that I need to share with you guys is he went from 240 pounds to 120 pounds because he had Lou Gehrig's disease, and he has now cured himself of that, of ALS. So that is a very good. Yes, and so where your energy goes, it flows, and he believes strongly enough in that to cure himself of that, of ALS, which is a huge accomplishment. As well as another little thing, he is the world strongman champion of the Highland Games, and still at 70 plus years old competes today and referees. So he's come back around from being 120 pounds sick and coming back up to traveling around California. They live in Northern California, and now is reffing and getting back into training again to compete.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Love it.
So if that's not tenacity, going down, rebuilding yourself, and coming back up, and even lessons that he might have learned from Walt Disney or anybody else, the paths that you cross in life. So thank you guys for coming today.
Thank you.
Pardon?
Where you guys live in Northern California?
Jackson, in the Gold Country. We live on a cattle ranch.
They live in the organic farming area.
Meeting on
Yeah.
surfboards, moving to a cattle ranch, herding. Love it.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.